Oh my god, it's...
What's up, people of the internet? My name is Hondro, and welcome to the first ever episode of Loco's PoGo podcast. Today I am seated here with my friend Forrest, aka Funky Dude 1 in PoGo, and we're going to talk about some cool things that are going on and have gone on in Pokemon Go. Forrest, how you doing today?
Good. However, can't respond. The internet can't respond to me, but hopefully everybody else is going well. It's hot. Arizona's a oven, essentially.
It is hot. So we've got a few topics to discuss. First up, as you guys can see on the screen, we're going to talk about GoFest.
GoFest, yes. I didn't have the pleasure of going to GoFest, but this gentleman right here did.
Yes.
And from what we hear, it's a complete 180 from the first disaster that was GoFest.
I didn't attend the first year, but from what everybody told me, yes, this event was very well organized, I would say. The park didn't have any fences. There was no line to get in. I got to the park because I had a Saturday ticket. So I got to the park on Saturday. The event started at 10 o'clock. I got there at about 8:30. Walked around, kind of looked at stuff, and then at 9:30 we were actually able to. They activated all the Pokestops, and you could spin and activate your wristband.
I was gonna say because it was a QR code, right?
Yeah, it was a QR code on the wristband, so you could literally once you spun the Pokestop, it would ask you to take an AR picture of your wristband, and then you were good to go. So at 9:30 you could actually start your day and start catching Pokemon.
That's nice.
And yeah, like I said, they had huge water containers. There's no pictures here on the website, but they had like huge water things where you could fill up water bottles. They were all over the main entrances, and then as you walked along, they had really cool. I wish they had some more pictures of this on here. It's weird that they don't, but they had 4 different habitats. So they had a volcano habitat where rock and fire Pokemon were spawning primarily.
Specifically with Torkoal, right? Torkoal was kind of the main draw of that.
Yeah, so you had Torkoal spawning there. You had Aerodactyls spawning there. It was the only time I've ever seen wild Aerodactyls. There were, I'm trying to think of anything. Lots of Magmars spawning there. I'm trying to think of like other rare stuff that was spawning there. Alolan Geodudes.
Okay, that's an odd choice. But...
Yeah, okay. And Alolan. Well, I guess those were more spawning around the. I'm kind of getting off topic here, but they were spawning because they were both steel and electric. So I think they were both spawning around the desert habitat.
Did it seem like there were Pokemon? Because you were saying Aerodactyl. Was Aerodactyl released as shiny at that point?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually got a shiny Aerodactyl at GoFest, which was really cool. Should be able to pull it up here if the game wants to be responsive.
Okay. So Aerodactyl was shiny potential. You said Magmar?
Magby is, but yeah, not Magmar.
And then Torkoal, obviously being a special regional that you can't get most places, was a nice little bonus.
Yeah, so I still have a bunch of. So out of the everything, this was everything that I caught in Chicago as far as shinies. So. In order, so I actually caught 2 Plusles because that's when they released Shiny Plusle and Shiny Minun during the event. So I caught 5 Plusles total, 5 Minun total, 1 Shiny Aerodactyl. I got a Shiny Whale, and that was everything that I caught in Chicago as far as shinies.
Well, it's good that the rate of Plusle and Minun shinies were good for you guys there too, because I think it was Roselia, the first event that was around in Dortmund or whatever. A lot of people who went there were saying that the Roselia shiny count wasn't as high as people who weren't there.
Yeah, I only have 1 shiny Roselia.
Okay.
But yeah, at GoFest, I mean, getting back to that. So obviously they had all the unknowns spawning. Well, they had all the unknowns that spell out Celebi plus the question mark. The only regional they had spawning there was Torkoal, so I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping I'd get some like Heracross, or maybe even throw in a Mr. Mime or Tropius, because America hasn't had a Safari Zone yet, and
with the regions and zones they had, it was perfect. You had a tropical zone.
Yeah,
you could have done a Tropius.
Yeah, they could have had. Yeah, they could have had Tropius at the jungle area. So they did have the volcano area that was spawning primarily fire and rock Pokemon. They had a glacial habitat that was spawning water and ice. So there was a lot of chances for like shiny Snorunt, Whalmer. Trying to think of the other shinies. They had snowy cast forms there, so I caught a bunch of those and brought those back because I hadn't seen a snowy cast form until that point.
Obviously, it looks like, well, from this footage, that the spawn rate of Torkoals and things were actually relatively good.
There was a lot.
Least, right?
There was a lot of Torkoals and a lot of I caught like over 75 unknowns, and then snowy cast forms. I've already traded off a couple of the cast forms and Torkoals, so I don't know how many exactly. I mean, I didn't have any Torkoals until the event, so no, he's 2nd gen, right?
Torkoal is 3rd gen. He's
3rd gen. Okay. Let's see. Let me find my Torkoal dex entry, because all the Torkoals I had were all from Chicago. But yeah, they had a glacial habitat with water and ice. They had a desert habitat that was spawning steel ground and then a little bit of rock, and then they had a jungle habitat that was spawning grass.
Okay.
So let's see, Torkoal.
So for each zone, was there a potential, at least like it seemed like two?
So I caught 20. I saw and caught 22, because that scene 23 is the one that I've seen on a gym from before. Okay. So 22 Torkoals, pretty good.
That's
unknowns I caught about 75. Snowy cast forms.
Well, it seemed like each habitat had at least 1 or 2 Pokemon that could be shiny too, maybe, or at least if it wasn't shiny, there was the regional for Torkoal. But Snorunt, you said, could be shiny.
I mean, Aerodactyl,
Aaron, right, was there.
Yeah, Aaron was spawning at the desert habitat and around it.
In the grass one, I'm assuming they had. Did they have Roselia and stuff there? Or
they did have. They did have Roselia. Okay. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's good.
It's been a little while.
It's
been a little while past GoFest, but yeah, and then the entrances. You guys can see here in like the big main photo here, the entrances, and with you could see the big main walkway, and then there was team tents. So you had the Mystic team tent, Instinct, and a Valor, and they had that on both the north and the south entrance.
Okay.
And then in the team tents, there was all sorts of like beanbag chairs. They had like popcorn machines and like a little snack kiosk that you could buy food from. And then they were also doing giveaways every like 30 minutes. They'd have little contests, and they do stuff like, hey, if you guys have 3 minutes to find out who can do the farthest distance trade right now. And then they gave those 2 people a prize pack, which was like a GoFest poster,
swag,
a lanyard with a GoFest medallion on it, which was really cool, and a T-shirt.
That's cool.
So every time they were giving that out, and then at each of the habitats, every 30 minutes, they were doing the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, who has the most? Like at the jungle habitat one time, they were like, who has the most Tricos in their storage right now? And so then people are just shouting out 15, 10, 30,
random,
whatever, and
whatever
then
they have.
And then they verify it, or who has the most Pokemon caught, and people are like 175,000.
Like, you're like,
whoa, what?
Something's wrong with that one.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, what? How do you have that many? There was literally like all day people were, because you weren't allowed to win twice. I don't know how they were really
keeping track,
because you could just not carry the stuff around with you and go to a different area and win again. But I'm sure there was people that won more than once. But anyway, they were doing contests like that all day, like who has the most shiny whatever, or usually if it was in the habitat, they were talking about something habitat specific
related. Okay.
Yeah, so like who has the most of X Pokemon, but they were also doing like who has the most Stardust, who has the most Pokemon in their decks. That one was kind of hard to decipher. But they were doing like different stuff like that, like every 30 minutes at all the habitats and at all the team tents. Oh, and they also had like they'd spin the wheel. They had a wheel that they would spin at each area, and it just had like Pokedex numbers. So there was like 25 numbers on it, and then they would just ask, like, everybody would put their hands up, they'd pick on somebody, and then if you could properly name the Pokemon that was associated with that number, then you'd win also.
Okay.
So there was lots of ways to win prizes. I tried a couple of times, didn't get to win. But yeah, the prize pack was pretty cool. I actually saw the medallion. It was really big. It was probably like 4x3 medallion that was like GoFest 2018, and it had like a GoFest lanyard. Wow. It was really cool. The poster was cool. I wish I had taken like some actual other photos of it. I've got a lot of video footage that is just sitting on my hard drive.
Got to get around to that one.
But yeah, I mean, it was an amazing experience. I got to Saturday night after the event, I got to meet almost all the YouTubers.
Okay. All the good famous ones.
I was hanging out with Sparky Joy and got to meet Dead Guy finally. Dead Guy Plays. I got to meet Omnisec. I got to meet Nick Trainer Tips. I got to meet Mystic 7, Brandon. I got to meet Prodigy's Nation. I got to meet Reversal.
Nice.
So what's her name? Holly was there. Holly didn't come to the after party event at it was at Lucky Strike.
Oh, okay.
So, but
they had an after party after everything.
Yeah, there was an after party that Sylph Road threw.
They did do it right.
Yeah, it was. The Sylph Road threw an after party at Lucky Strike in Chicago. It was a lot of fun. So like almost all the YouTubers came out. But yeah, it was super fun. So that was pretty amazing.
Worth it. So all around worth it in your opinion.
Very much so. I actually went back the second day, even though I couldn't play because the QR code was literally only good for that day. But I tried to live stream like as much as I could while I was there. You can see those live streams on my channel. I caught Celebi live. I caught a bunch of stuff live. I don't know if the shiny Aerodactyl was live while I was streaming or not, because there was a couple of times where I had like connection issues. But as far as like connection, because I know the first year's GoFest was bad, like real bad. So like it was plagued with connection issues. Even live streaming almost never had bad connection.
Well, they learned their lesson on that one. I mean, that's
they had the cell towers put up. The park, it was a very long walking back and forth. But there was so many Pokemon to catch. The only thing I wish is that they had increased our storage capacity before GoFest.
Of course.
Because I would have caught so many more Pokemon if I had more storage. Then every time I caught a Torkoal, I wasn't going to transfer it because I wanted to bring them home to trade people. As well as all the unknowns. I didn't transfer a single unknown. I didn't transfer a single Torkoal. Obviously no shinies. I didn't transfer any of the snow cast forms I caught. And then anything that I caught that was decent, that was really good IV, I actually got lucky and caught this. I actually took an AR picture of this when it was a Geodude. Mm-hmm. So I wish I could pull that up. I had an AR picture with the Geodude, and then I caught it, and I was like, oh, it's got 2 max stats because I believe it's HP. Yeah, it's HP and defense are both 15. Nice. And then I put it in, I IV checked it on Poke Assistant, and it was a 96. So it was a 13, 15, 15. And I was like, evolve,
You're like,
evolve.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
Right?
And Alolan Golem is so cool. So.
Well, does that give you hope for future events then? Hopefully they'll
start doing... Yeah, I think they've really upped their game since, I don't know what they did with like community managers or who took over, but it seems like especially... Pokemon Go in 2018 has just been so much better. Like, this has been by far the best time to play Pokemon Go because there's so much to do. I mean, they started it off this year with community days.
Oh, I'm right there. I was exhausted.
Yeah, so
first raid.
I mean, raiding has been fun, but there's not much to it, and then getting EX raid passes felt tedious, and the system wasn't really fair, and so there wasn't really a whole lot to do in Pokemon Go. But then they keep trickling out like new shinies. They keep
Kanto
doing
event. There was the water event.
They're doing events every month. They're doing community days every month. There's chances for people all across the world with like Safari Zones and Go Fest. So there's just all sorts of stuff that's kind of like bringing people back, and then obviously with like trading and now lucky Pokemon,
Of course.
and then talk of PvP later this year maybe. There's just more and more stuff that's bringing people back to the game, and the game is more fun now in my opinion than it's ever been. So
when even this year was like weather, they introduced weather this year. All these things that you forget about that happened not too long ago.
And it's so much. And then with the trading, you got the friends, and it's never been easier to level up, to get Stardust and all that stuff. Because like with the friends system, you could literally have 20 best friends, and you'll be at level 40 before you have 20 best friends because of the amount of XP you get just from getting to best. So that's just playing with 20 people trading gifts back and forth in 90 days, and you'll be level 40.
Well, not even that, but also now with the trading and community days and special shiny rates of Pokemons, now you can actually trade with each other. It helps if somebody maybe can't get to community day, missed out on this.
Yeah.
And I know I'm helping a couple friends who missed out on, even this past community day for Eevee, but somebody that missed out on a Dratini day a while back. And I was like, I have extra Dratini. I can trade you now. Like, we're leveling up our friendship to get to that point because I missed out on having a lot for Larvitar Day. So we're going to plan to trade a shiny Larvitar for a shiny Dratini. And something as simple as that helps to where...
It's really bringing community back to Pokemon Go, because there was a lot for a while there. Like every time there was a new raid boss, there would be some hype, and then groups would go out and raid together. But then after then they do the same raid boss for like a whole month straight, and it gets kind of old because people don't want after. Especially with the Reggies.
Well, the Reggies,
the Reggies, until they introduce, and I've said this before, until they introduce the ability to put legendaries onto a gym.
Exactly.
There are just certain legendaries that aren't worth anything, really, at this point. Like, the Reggies aren't good attackers. Their defense stat is insane, so they'd be really good to put on a gym as a defender. But you can't do that, so they're not really worth much. But that's besides the point. Okay, let's transition and talk about...
Speaking of community, there's your cheesy transition.
Let's talk about this and why this is possibly the worst community day they've ever done.
I mean, except for the people who are Chikorita fans, I am not one of those people, but not really meta potential, or it just doesn't seem like there's anything exciting about this one.
Poor Chikorita. At least, so Pikachu was the first one. Pikachu doesn't Mega. It's not a strong Pokemon, but they gave it Surf, so that was cool. Plus, you could get, that was the first time I got a shiny Pikachu. And first and only time I've ever gotten shiny Pikachus was during Community Day. And then most of the other ones were like super rare Pokemon that don't nest, like that spawn out of 10Ks, like you were saying earlier. Mareep, Dratinis, and then Larvitars, and then you've got things that Mega, like Larvitar, all the first gen starters, so Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. All those guys Mega, Larvitar Megas. I'm hoping, like, let's see, what do we even get this month? We get 3 times catch XP. Do people still need that?
people want the double evolve or the.
I want Stardust every time.
Stardust,
Stardust is what I want. Like the special move on Chikorita, like you said, Chikorita's not meta relevant.
I was telling you this earlier, the only reason they did it is because of the coloration of shiny Chikorita, and that it's associated. This is right. Is it before or after? It's somewhere right around where. Fall starts, autumn starts, and the color of Chikorita is the brownish color that it symbolizes fall. It's a it's a horrible reason for them to release this, but I get where they were going with it, I guess. It's just not the greatest and most exciting community day. Now, the ones that everybody's excited about are potentially October's, which right around my birthday. Woo woo. But everybody's thinking that maybe that would be Ghastly, or everybody's hoping anyway.
I pray it's Ghastly. If they don't do Ghastly in October, they've severely underestimated their community day strategy here. Because if they don't do Ghastly, because Ghastly would be perfect. Not only, actually, let me find Ghastly here. Not only does ooh, look at the...
Well, isn't that the only ghost type that doesn't have a shiny out yet or something? Or it's one of the only ghost types that doesn't have a shiny form?
Because Duskull, Shuppet, and Sableye are all shiny already. I mean, Alolan Marowak is technically a ghost, but yeah, Ghastly... not only does Gengar Mega evolve and is like one of the coolest... Shiny, and yeah, he's one of the Gengar is just one of the coolest Pokemon in the game. He's my second pick, just behind Alakazam.
Well, and then the question comes into play: would they do the Legacy move for his special move for Community Day, or would they do a brand new move?
Yeah,
for the Community Day?
They might bring like Shadow Claw and. They might bring Shadow Claw back.
Because they did that with Snorlax and Body Slam. So they're starting to change up that. I think it's good they've moved on to the Legendary Dogs now as the 7-day reward because people missed out on that. Mm. It's great. Cool.
Meganium, is that how you pronounce this?
Meganium, I believe.
Meganium?
Is how it's pronounced in the anime or something.
Who wants this thing? Look, this thing is mostly powered up and it's at 2000 CP. What a garbage Pokemon.
But it's pretty. It's got a nice flower on it.
Yeah, adorable. No one.
But anyway,
no one cares.
So I guess it's time to move on.
Chikorita sucks. Hopefully they do Ghastly in October. If they don't, we're all in trouble.
We'll see.
All right, let's transition and talk about the Japanese Safari Zone that we've got coming up here in.
Next big event.
Yeah, just like a week or so. Pretty soon.
What, the end of
August?
Yeah,
it's the end of the last weekend here. It starts on Wednesday the 29th and goes through Sunday the 2nd. So it's pretty safe to say the only real notable thing here, there's a couple. Obviously there's going to be cool Safari Zone stuff spawning in Japan for the event. Obviously I wish I could go to get myself a Tropius. But alas,
boosted Gen 3 starters, it looks like, maybe via that poster.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of it looks like the
Feebas,
Gen 3s, Phoebus,
for those
unknowns. You think it's going to spell out? Oh man, wouldn't that be cool if it spelled out Yokosuka because they get the Y?
Probably. I'm thinking that's how they're going to go.
I bet you they'll get the Y.
Because did they have an unknown Safari event that spelled out Safari Zone or anything already?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, maybe.
I bet you they'll have all the letters. They might even have the J in the end for Japan.
That's 6. Yeah, that's 6
with
letters
with an exclamation maybe or a question mark. Like if they did Yokosuka Japan as the letters,
7, 8.
That'd be pretty cool. And then there's also shiny Wingles coming out. I don't know,
Not the best shiny, but same goes for anybody who's wanting to hunt it.
Yeah.
Advice.
So Wingle will be increased spawning throughout the world. So and then we'll have a chance to get a shiny Wingle potentially. So
given the rates of the last ones, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be hard to.
It'll be like Rosalia, where it's spawning everywhere. Just shiny check them all. Click them all until you get the one you want.
It's not meta worthy, so don't worry about getting a good one. Just if you want a shiny, get a shiny.
But so after this, we've got what will likely be Moltres Day.
Yes.
And that will most likely be the following weekend on September the 8th, Saturday, since that seems to be the pattern where they do the event, we unlock the bonus, and then they go into the Bird Day. So we had Articuno Day after the the Dormont Safari Zone. Then we had Zapdos after GoFest, and now it looks like we should,
if we unlock everything,
we should get Moltres after the Japan Safari Zone, and that will come with its shiny form and everything else. And possibly, and it was weird because they didn't do any special move with Articuno, but Zapdos had Thundershock. I thought that was kind of a slap in the face to Articuno.
Although Articuno didn't need it already had like an actual good ice type attack move for what it is. Zapdos's quick move wasn't a good one, so they replaced it with a better one.
Yeah, Thundershock was a good one, and I ended up getting a hundo
there you go.
that day.
Plus
my second one, the only legendary I have 2 hundos of.
Plus low-key, Zapdos is the best legendary bird anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. I'm Team Mystic, and I still think Zapdos is by far my favorite legendary bird. So I'm happy I've got 2 hundos.
Nice.
And I got 3 shinies that day?
I just love that they put the preface on there of like, if we unlock and do all these tasks, because they're not programming this into the game and not going to give it to us.
It's going to be unlocked. So. I mean, we unlocked, like at GoFest, the unlocks were done seriously not to? those unlocks were done in like 4 hours or something. It was ridiculous because it was so easy to do the field research.
I think it only makes sense to do Moltres Day. If they do something else, it'd be very weird of them.
If they did anything other than Moltres, I think people would lose their minds.
I want a shiny pink rubber chicken. That's,
fire.
That'd be awesome.
Fire chicken.
Fire chicken's bonus. But
fire chicken.
After that, so after Moltres Day, since we've unlocked all 3 things, this is speaking like I can tell the future, we're going to get Moltres Day.
Yeah.
So after that's said and done, that's going to lead to the Ultra bonus unlock. So...
yeah, the end of this end of summer Ultra bonus that they've been promising for months now.
Which still has no, like, date on it or any time frame. But... a couple different potentials of what it could be. There's people that have tossed around that it's just going to be a Mewtwo version of these bird days where it's 3 hours of Mewtwo raids with a chance of shiny.
I would happily take a shiny Mewtwo or 2 or 5 or 7.
I mean, I think it'd be good to get Mewtwo out to those players that don't have one yet or haven't gone an EX pass if they live in a rural area, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if they did that, then what is the next step? Are they going to replace Mewtwo? Which is the other thing that people have been talking about is potentially Deoxys.
You're talking about in the EX raid system?
In the EX raid system. Is people have been potentially thinking that Deoxys would take over in Mewtwo's place because that's the next legendary or pseudo-legendary Pokemon that hasn't been released.
And the interesting thing about Deoxys is that there's 4 different forms?
4 forms. So there's attack, defense, speed, and normal form.
Okay. And in the regular games, you can toggle one Deoxys back and forth between those 4 forms before entering into a battle.
Yeah, so it was an at-will transformation, but you had to interact with a meteorite. There was different meteorites in the game that would say, like, this one radiates this energy, and you'd click on it and it would transform.
Okay.
Similar to later on in Generation 4 where Rotom can take over different appliances. You'd have to interact with something and then it would change its form.
Okay,
so
interesting.
In Pokemon Go, obviously we don't have things that can change at will. We still don't know how Megas are going to work eventually.
So they'll probably do 4 separate forms.
Possibility at 4 random forms, which I think would be maybe a good way to change up the excitement of EX raids. If you say, hey,
so you think they would do it where everybody gets a different form at random, or do you think or do you think they'd cycle it out where, okay, this week they're all normal form Deoxys. If you get an EX pass that's for this week, they're all going to be attack forms.
I don't know if they're going to do it by week or if they would be better off doing it by specific location and just having it random each time it pops, and then your hunt for an EX pass is better because you're trying to
get all 4 forms.
Sure. So now it encourages people to raid more to get an EX pass because I got an attack form the other day. I want to get another EX pass and possibly get a defense form
or a speed form or what have you.
So I think it would drive some raids.
So you think it would be something like a 3-hour Mewtwo with potential shiny, just like they've done so far for the birds?
I think it could potentially be that. If it is that, I mean, that's the logical step to go to Deoxys next. If not, I've always thought that it was just an easy way for them to just release Gen 4. I think it's the big unlock is saying the new gen is out. People are getting bored of...
It does seem like they've been gearing up for it. I mean, with the raid bosses that are out right now, they added Rosalia as a raid boss. They added Tangela as a raid boss.
Well, and the leaks...
They've got Kirlia as a raid boss.
Well, and the leaks that came out about this Evolve event that was going to be happening towards... Somewhere near Eevee Community Day, there was a rumor going around that they were going to have an evolution event.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
That would essentially put all the evolutions that are coming from Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon to be able to release now. Like what they did with the babies before they released the babies before the rest of the generation.
Yeah, they did like an Easter. They did that baby Easter event.
They could release all the evolutions as part of the ones you can evolve to now, and then the rest of the generation could trickle out slowly like they did with Gen 3.
So we'd get like Tangrowth, Magnezone, Magmortar, Electivire, things like that.
Togekiss, all those things. And the baby forms, because there's baby
they put those
Rosalia,
in the eggs.
Baby Chingling.
Wait, what's the baby Rosalia?
Bidoof.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know there was a baby form of that.
Rosalia is the only Pokemon that gets an evolution and a baby Pokemon in the same generation.
Interesting.
It's really weird.
I know Munchlax is in there.
But coming out from that, Mime Jr. is the weird one that everybody's wondering about. If people don't know if that's going to change up the way that gifts work with eggs in them, because it's potentially...
I bet you they would rotate out the Alolan forms for baby Gen 4.
I think it'd be
out
awesome.
Of gifts.
I think it'd be awesome if you could get regular eggs from friends too, but higher potential
for Gen 4 out of those eggs.
That or regionals. Like a slight chance.
I've always thought they should do regionals and eggs because, even with trading in the game now, the only way because I can't afford to fly. Yeah. I can't afford to fly to Europe or go to Australia or go to New Zealand for Relicanth or go to Africa for Tropius. Mm-hmm. I can't afford to fly all over the world.
Make it a small % chance, like they did with Vulpix when it was how it was the rarest one that you could hatch. It was like 3% chance or something. Do that because it still encourages people to play together. You can go on online forums, talk with people, say, hey, I want to level up friendship and trade gifts. We're not only getting distance out of it, but potentially we could help each other get regionals. Yeah. They could potentially hatch a Tauros egg.
Or if you had friends from those regions.
Exactly.
And they could send you a gift.
That they're not always visiting. Like, say you don't have somebody that visits the US.
That would be a perfect way to do it. Because then you'd say, hey, I've got a couple of friends in Australia, so I've got a chance for Kangaskhan. And then I've got, friends in Asia for...
Farfetch'd.
For Farfetch'd, and I guess depending on where you are, possibly Tropius, and because Tropius is like
Morocco and Northern
it's
Africa.
Northern Africa and Southern Europe.
There's I don't know,
and there's also Mr. Mime.
Mime Jr. I think would replace Mr. Mime in the eggs so that we could get both, but.
Can they hatch Mr. Mime? Does Mr. Mime hatch at all out of eggs?
They took that away. It was Europe? There. No, it was there at the beginning when the game first came out.
Because I know you could hatch Tauros back in the day.
They took that out.
Okay, so they took regionals just entirely out of eggs.
So there's the ability to hatch it. It was already in the game before. Yeah. But I say even if you made it to where you had to be a certain level to even have the chance to get an egg. So say you had to be great friends with somebody.
Sure.
Before you had a chance from an egg that you received them to even have a regional.
Yeah.
It still encourages people to trade every day or do gifts every day, but it gives people who live in rural areas, people who don't get to travel, people who don't interact with people.
I mean, kids that don't have a say in any of it. And, and if they're... It'd be a lot harder to be like a child and be able to coordinate trades with,
And honestly, I think it would encourage people to go back to actually playing in a more legitimate way. Because I know a lot of people right now have done this where they've violated the terms of service by creating a secondary account that they allow people to catch regionals on for them.
Okay.
and then you could just log back in and trade with friends from that account. So people are finding a way to circumvent it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like dirty ways to play, I guess.
Well, there's a lot of people who are finding ways to circumvent it because they don't want to have to rely on having somebody travel from that region or whatever. But this would allow people to say, I don't need to do that. I have a potential to just grind eggs that I get from people from Australia to Kangaskhan.
I think that would, if they made regionals more accessible, like what you're saying, like obviously they've cracked down on spoofing, like I think the spoofing and alternate accounting and stuff like that would decrease overall. And then that way you'd have a more just legitimate base game that you're not you don't have people with like 15 accounts doing like weird shady stuff and bogging down the servers for no reason when you could just have one account. Like I've only ever played my account, so I don't know. That's me personally though. I don't spoof. I don't have an alternate account. I just play.
And I know people who have alternate accounts in rural areas that to help them like battle legendaries and like for certain purposes. And
I don't fault people for doing stuff like that.
It's when you start using the secondary accounts to start taking effort and time away from other people.
Yeah, I mean we could really dive into all this, but that's kind of a discussion for another day. But so potentially as the Ultra unlock, it'll be a way for them to release, or at least start to release Gen 4 or the Mewtwo, and then I'm sure they'll do additional shiny forms because they did release in that new APK update. They did release a bunch more shinies for Gen 1 and 2. At least their sprites were added to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go and speculate about any of that, but it's potential that they could do kind of like some sort of mass shiny event, maybe.
That'd be nice.
I think that'd be kind of cool if they just, because it's almost to the point now where I'm like, well, there's like 6 things here I got a shiny check.
Yeah.
And it's going to get to that point in the game at some point where everything's a shiny check and you're like, oh
Instead
man.
of catching it. You're focusing so much on that.
Can you increase the storage, please, Niantic? Can you increase my Pokemon storage? Look at this. I'm sitting on $14.99 out of 1,500. That's ridiculous.
I'll take some of those unknowns.
I
got you.
Yeah, I can only get rid of one a day because you're special trading me for every different type.
I think if they released shiny, like a mass shiny where they just put all the shinies out there, it would also change up the way that people are shiny hunting and trading. Like I could trade, say my favorite shiny is a shiny Growlithe.
Yeah.
But I haven't caught one, but I caught an extra shiny, I don't know, Swinub, and somebody wants that. You could essentially then the values of shinies become a little more fair as well, to where people are more trading for what they want. It's not about just accomplishing a checklist and getting all these shinies.
Yeah.
It's just like the regular games where there's a chance you're going to get a shiny, but it'll be a random one that you may not want. You may want whatever.
Well, and there's still plenty of shinies that I don't have. Like I don't have.
Oh, same here.
The only ghost I have is Shuppet. I have one Shuppet. I don't have Duskull. I don't have Sableye. I don't know. I'd have to pull up the shiny list. There's plenty. There's plenty of them that I don't have.
Exactly, and I think that would be a good encouragement to get people to start trading more too, and leveling up their friendships, new shinies that you want.
Yeah, because I'm not even gonna trade for a shiny honestly until I'm best friend level with somebody because it's so absorbently expensive, Stardust wise. If it's a shiny you don't have, which I don't know why else. I mean, I do plan on trading back and forth some shiny Eevees because I ended up with 23 of them. You said you caught how many?
37.
Yeah, so
I had insane luck on Community Day, and my buddy that was with me ended up catching 35.
Yeah, so wow, that's really good.
We both made out great.
So I caught plenty of shiny Eevees, but the highest IV one I think is like an 84.
Yeah.
So I want to trade back and forth shiny Eevees with somebody to
not only increase their IVs,
to potentially increase their IVs, and then possibly even get a lucky one. So that way, when I choose to evolve it, then it's half the Stardust if I want to power it up, because I want to have a powered up shiny Espeon. Umbreon I really want, but I don't know if if I get a lucky one I'll power it up because it'll be half Stardust.
Yeah.
But Umbreon's not really a great attacker, but I still want if I get a lucky one, I'll make it an Umbreon. But yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of potential. We're saying the most likely scenario is we'll probably get some sort of Gen 4 with additional shinies. I think additional shinies will be part of the Ultra bonus regardless.
I think that's a great change.
They will have additional shinies because every single event has had new shinies in it.
Exactly.
Like, basically all year long, almost every single event has had some sort of new shiny Pokemon, at least one.
And they're still changing up everything. They're doing, and leading on to this too, we already know that Celebi research is coming out Monday. Mm-hmm. So there's more of an encouragement now, especially when people are going to be out grinding for these new tasks that they're going to have to do, which we don't know how different it's going to be from the Go Fest task list.
we can transition right into Celebi.
Because with the shinies along the way, if you increase and do a massive shiny event for Pokemon that are out there while everybody's grinding to do their Celebi research, it's an opportunity that people can get more excited. I'm grinding Whalmers to get Whalmer candy. There's Whalmer, but there's also shiny... I don't know. There's Spinnerax out there. Who knows? For that one person who loves their Spinnerax so much that they want a shiny Spinnerax.
I want shiny Ditto. That's what I want.
Well, everybody wants shiny Ditto. They still need to do the Ditto task that was promised.
Yeah, what happened with that? That's
the Ultra.
I totally forgot about that.
That's the Ultra bonus unlock, everybody.
They promised Ditto tasks like 2 months ago, didn't they?
That's what it's going to be, Ultra bonus Ditto tasks.
They promised freaking Ditto research tasks.
Did you forget about that?
And didn't pull through. And people are still looking for Dittos for their Mew quest. People are still looking for Dittos for their Mew quest.
I love you totally forgot about that.
I did.
That's
They freaking promised that to people, and they didn't do it. Wow. Way to go, Niantic. Way to drop the ball there, Niantic. But... However, where they're not dropping the ball, hopefully, is with this Celebi research that's coming out on Monday the 20th.
I'm ready. I know you already have your Celebi.
Yes, I mean, it's right there. Right here.
I have been saving up candies for potentials because everybody's worried about another Magikarp situation where you're going to have to evolve one of those.
Tons of Magikarp candy.
I got all my
tons of Swablu.
Even though I don't think that it's going to be a Gen 3 evolution like that, I think it'll be something with evolution items. I think they're going to create a task that has to do with, like,
so
use an evolution item.
You have to evolve Slowpoke.
Slowpoke.
Oh, no. Well, good thing I've got 5 of each. I've always kept 5 of each of the evolution items.
If you have the candies, I have enough evolution items. It's about the candies for each one of those, too, and finding an extra one to evolve.
Slowpoke for sure. Horsey, maybe.
Horsey's the hard one.
Horsey's the hard. Yeah, around here it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you live somewhere around water, it's not as difficult. But here in the desert,
the last time I saw a Horsey was probably 7 months ago.
Really?
Yeah, it was horrible. Like even during the water event, I never saw a Horsey. It was crazy.
Yeah. What else? Porygon. I got a couple Porygons I could evolve, I guess. I don't know. That'd be interesting if they do evolution items. I haven't heard that theory before. That's a cool theory.
That or a day and night kind of thing, like an Eevee and Espeon, because you have to evolve them day and night.
I'm just hoping they don't do more raid battles like they did with
they will.
Mew, because
they're going
that was the only thing that hung me up on the Mew, because I did that 24-hour live stream was trying to for Mew, and I got through the Ditto step. And then after I did that, I couldn't go any further because it was like 11 o'clock at night, and the next step was I had to do 10 raids.
You know how they could fix that? 24-hour raids for like level 1, 2s, and 3s. Just make those available 24 hours a day, or change the time, change this time and extend it. Because people who work till 5, I work till 5. I work a day job, and when I get off work, I have about 2 hours to raid. That's it before raids shut down. It'd be nice if they, instead of having 17 raids that I see every morning on my way in at 6 o'clock, when nobody's raiding at 6 o'clock. It's very
odd that they trigger raids at starting, like the eggs pop up at 5 a.m.
It's weird. I'm like, why? Nobody's
I guess if you had a early morning before work group, maybe, but I don't know of anyone that actually does that. I don't know of anyone that does that.
There's more people complaining about not being able to do it after work than there are people complaining about, I want to do a raid at 5:40 in the morning.
I want to raid at 3 a.m.
Karen, calm down. Nobody wants to do raids at 5:40 in the morning.
I got to work at 4. Why don't they start at 3?
But I think a simple solution, which has been brought up before, is having raids that like level 1, 2, and 3 raids or soloable raids that can be done at any time.
The problem with that though is where the gyms are, because the gyms are all over town, and if you do raids all night long, you're gonna run into problems with like trespassing and law enforcement.
Well,
even more so than you do already.
But they already have parks here in Arizona. There's a couple specifically I know that have park hours that they shut down. Like those parks specifically, their stops and everything shut down at 10 o'clock. You can't spin them. You can't do anything. So there's no point in people going to that park. Okay. So if they really wanted to do something like that, they could just put the hours and close it down if they had to. But
that's a lot of work.
I know, we're asking a lot.
Yeah, you're talking about a lot of work there.
But for city like we're right near Old Town.
Yeah.
There's a million stops over here and gyms and stuff. There's no reason that those shouldn't be going all day long. It's not private property. It's public property. People are drinking until 3 a.m.
We can agree to disagree on that.
People are drinking until 3 a.m. down there. Like, people are down there. It's not like nobody's in Old Town.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we can agree to disagree on that. I am excited for this Celebi quest line, though, because it's going to be vastly different than the quest line that they gave us at GoFest, because the quest line at GoFest, literally after step 3, you were done.
Yeah.
Because they needed it to be able to be done within the 8-hour window. So it was literally, I'm trying to remember the steps. It was like the first step included like spin 20 Pokestops and then catch 10 Pokemon and do something else. Mm-hmm. So that was like super easy. Step 2 was catch all the types. So there was
you guys got awesome bonuses.
Yeah,
for those too.
and they mention here in this article that there's going to be something like that too. Hang on. So it was like catch 10 fire types, catch 10 rock, 10 steel, 10 ice, 10 water, and 10 grass.
All the types that were there at the
you got third evolutions. Actually, let me pull that up here. You got to have the third evolutions, it was everything except for Torkoal was a third evolution.
What, like, so Metagross, Aggron.
So let me get to where I caught him here. So for the was he grass? Was he grass or water? Yeah, was he grass or water? I'm gonna wait for it to catch up. But they do mention it here in the article. Let's see. Presence of Celebi is drawn originally discovered in the Johto region.
Even encounter certain Pokemon on your journey.
Where is that?
Second paragraph.
Oh, so right here in the second paragraph. So you're gonna get, just like with Mew, you'll get XP and items, and then this is what I was talking about. Even encounter certain Pokemon on your journey. So that's probably alluding to something similar to what they did at GoFest for us. So we actually got to the water bonus Pokemon was Ludicolo.
Which
so
is
he's
awesome.
a third Ludicolo is a third evolution. I actually IV checked all these, so that one was I put a little C for Chicago because I'm never gonna transfer any of those. I'm never gonna transfer them. So it's a C, Chicago 84. We got Whaleren for ice Pokemon. We got Aggron as the rock bonus Pokemon. We got Metagross as the steel bonus Pokemon. Shiftry as the grass bonus Pokemon, and then Torkoal as the fire. So Torkoal was the only one that wasn't it was a regional, but it wasn't all the other ones are I guess technically second evolutions. It's not a third evolution.
But final forms.
But final evolved forms, which
some of those
was really
be
cool.
Awesome, especially out here. Like Ludicolo, I know only really spawns here when it rains, and people like Lotads are only here.
Yeah, Lotads are only out during rain.
Whalerens, the only reason I had some is because we had a good nest once.
Well, and they did the ice event last year.
But that was it. I don't see Spiels anywhere.
And Beldums don't spawn.
Beldums don't really spawn anymore.
Beldums are one of the rarest things in the game.
We don't get windy weather out here. It's always sunny. Arizona, and then, it could be pouring monsoon and it's sunny.
Yeah, and then a good IV Torkoal is pretty much worth its weight in gold.
They were all pretty good IVs actually.
Yeah, they're all in the 80s. Oh, except for Shiftry, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Shiftry's kind of garbage.
But they're not bad.
Shiftry's kind of garbage.
But hopefully they do something like that.
But
to help
I think they will do something like that to help fill out the decks. And then they also say here that Celebi is going to bring a bunch of the Gen 2 Pokemon out more.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of Johto region Pokemon. And then field research relating to Johto will be also going on during that event.
Do you think that'll be the inevitable release of Smeargle that we're missing from Gen 2, like they did with Spinda?
Yeah, that's a good point. They'll probably do Smeargle because they actually just added Smeargle's shiny sprite. That doesn't really mean anything as far as if Smeargle's coming out or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did it like Spinda, because Spinda was kind of a specialty thing.
Well, that's the only one missing. It's Smeargle and Celebi are the only ones left for Gen 2.
Yeah,
that's it. And then they could move on to Gen 3 and do all the stuff they need to do.
So they might finish Gen 2 with Celebi coming out. So they might sneak Smeargle into the field research. That's a good point. I like that. A Celebi T-shirt will be available. I'm so frustrated that they do this with the item shop and that they charge you
for outfits.
It's like, if you have the unlock, just
give it to us.
Why?
Like, that's already enough work.
I have never spent a penny on a single unlock for any clothing in this game, and I refuse to. I just won't do it.
Me either.
I want to go back to Celebi. Where are you, my friend? Oh, there you are. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you.
Glorious.
So Celebi's not quite as cool as Mew, in my opinion. Doesn't have anywhere near the moveset. It only has 5 moves.
Okay.
So it's Confusion and I believe it's an electric attack. Like,
attack.
I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive.
Mew's my favorite legendary anyway, so
I'll pull it up here.
Besides what I'm walking right now for the Espeon that I'm getting, but I always kind of default back to Mew as my buddy now that I have it.
Yep, Charge Beam.
Charge Beam. That's such a horrible
Charge Beam, move. And then you've got Psychic, you've got Hyper Beam, and Dazzling Gleam. So obviously the best attack set is Confusion and Dazzling Gleam. So
we don't have any good
Charge Beam is just a garbage move.
Yeah.
It's just so bad. So yeah, Dazzling Gleam by far the best move. If you want to know what your 100 is going to be, so it spawns at level 15. So it's the same as the 100 for Mew. So the 100 that you're looking for is 1324. Mine is obviously
not.
Mine is obviously far below that.
My Mew was the same way.
Mine's a 78. So my stats are not ideal, but the Hundo is going to have 225 attack, 225 defense, and 215 stamina. So the base stats are the exact same as Mew's, 210, 210, and 200.
Yeah.
But I basically have a similar Mew. My Mew also I put Dazzling Gleam on Mew, and then I have Shadow Claw.
Okay.
So I like that kind of like opposing attack with Mew. It's kind of cool as a mixed attacker. But yeah, what else do we want? Is there anything else we want to talk about with Celebi?
Starting the grind on Monday.
Oh, the important thing. So I will be able to participate in the quest line. However, I already have a Celebi, so at the end, I don't get to catch another Celebi.
You just get
get a candy reward. My fingers crossed that hopefully they give me enough candy to max this guy out, because maybe at some point they'll give us a shot at another mythical, but you can't trade mythicals. At this point, there's no other chance to catch a mythical. So hopefully my reward will be, hey, here's at least enough candy to max this thing out.
But how many would it be?
It would have. To max out, it's like 250 or something.
Okay.
268 to go all the way from level 15 to level 40 is 268 candies.
It's a lot of rare candies.
I've already dumped rare candy onto this guy, so he has 113. Even if they gave me like 100 candy, because at the end of the quest line you get 20 anyway.
Okay.
So you get your 3 when you catch it, because you can't bury it, and it's just unlimited Pokeballs.
It's just like the Mew encounter.
It's just like the Mew encounter. So it's unlimited Pokeballs.
Still the 3 times too, where it breaks out for once, twice, and then you catch it on the 3rd time.
I don't know.
Because Mew, it was like you throw it and it would break out immediately, and then you throw another ball and it would shake twice and then break out.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the playback of my catch. I don't know if he broke out 3 times or if it was more than that. He broke out at least a couple of times before I caught him. But yeah, you've got Oh yeah, so
A lot of
if
candy, though.
you'll have 23 after you finish the quest line, just like you did for Mew. So I'm hoping they at least give us 100 candy as an incentive, because if it's less than 100 candy, man, that's kind of weak, because we don't get to catch another one, so it's not like we've got a chance at better IVs.
But is it like almost unfair in that case, as far as your guys getting so much more candy and not having to waste your rare candies? Like, what if they did like 50, where it's you guys got 83 candies, we got 23 candies?
I don't know.
Like, that's a lot.
I'm just being hopeful.
I know.
I just want,
because you're gonna try to make it as fair as possible.
Yeah, I'm just hopeful that it's at least 100, because that'll save me candy. And because you can't trade them to lower the Stardust cost or anything like that. So
I'm just ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all the new things that are going to be coming up. It's going to be a busy month.
Yeah,
busy month and a
and
half.
I'll be doing another 24-hour live stream. So I'm assuming Celebi Quest will go live just this at 1 o'clock our local time, just like they do every other event that starts. Well, besides community days, I'll start here at 11.
For now.
But the Mew quest started at 1 p.m. here, so I'm assuming Celebi will start at the same time. It'll unlock, and then it'll be off to the races. So
then you'll get to your raid quest right at 6:50, right before everything starts.
Yeah,
it stops.
And the other thing I want to say, because there's no way they're going to do the exact same quest line that they did for GoFest, because in step 3 you had to catch 7 unknowns.
But people who still have their quest to finish after they left GoFest, that quest reverted to a catch 7 psychic types.
Did it really?
Yeah, because they knew that people wouldn't be able to catch unknowns.
Really? I was wondering how they were going to figure that if you weren't able to finish it at GoFest.
So everybody that
I never saw that in a video or anything.
Anybody who didn't finish it, that quest, instead of catch 7 unknowns, turned into catch 7 psychic types.
Really?
So still able to do it. You just have to find an Abernest or something.
I mean, that would be easy enough. Okay.
So they made it still feasible for people.
Okay, I did not know that. Yeah, because I guess if you like didn't show up to the event on time or whatever, and you fell behind on your research, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Forrest. That's
the more you know.
Woo!
Cue the more you know star across the screen.
The more you know.
Well, but as I said, I'm excited for everything going up. We got a lot of events going, and we'll have to do another episode and catch up as we figure out what the next
we'll
big
definitely
chunk of news.
Definitely do more of these in the future. I want to thank you guys for watching and listening to the first ever Loco's PoGo podcast with Loco Hondro and Forrest, aka Funky Dude 1. So this has been a lot of fun. Forrest, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
Bringing your insight.
Yeah.
Forrest is definitely way more versed in general Pokemon knowledge. He has way more knowledge than I do in like Pokemon in general. I grew up with Gen 1 and then didn't really follow Pokemon after that. But then like as soon as Pokemon Go came out, I dove back in. But you've been more...
I've played all the games, the handheld games and everything. I'm a little bit on the opposite of Pokemon Go, though, where I don't really have as much time, or I haven't invested as much time in the battling and tier aspect. I know you've gone into a lot of the more specifics.
Yeah. As far as Pokemon's power in this game and like counters and stuff like that, like I'm pretty much the go-to on that. So. But yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This is a lot of fun, and we will definitely do it again. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to my YouTube channel. I'm gonna have the Celebi live stream starting on Monday. Hopefully, we'll get it started. I'll probably start it like 30 minutes to an hour after the event goes live, just so I can prep and be ready and be somewhere that I'll be able to stream properly. So look forward to that. If you guys missed the Celebi announcement video and the Regirock raid video, that was my previous video, go ahead and check that out. If you guys enjoyed this, please leave it a like so that way we'll know if this is something that you guys want to hear / see going forward. So this is kind of, like I said, the pilot episode. So please leave this a like if you guys enjoyed. And once again, thank you to Forrest. And thank you guys, And until next time, I'm Loco Hondro. Peace, Poke Trainers!